Our entire digital world, pretty much everything we do online, runs on something you rarely see: API operations. These are the secret, unwritten rules that keep your favorite apps from just falling apart. So today, we're going to build a fortress to protect them.
Okay, so your API is up. It's running, it's responding to requests. That's great. Check the box. But let me ask you this. Is it truly operational? I mean, is it secure? Is it resilient? Is it compliant? See, that's a much, much bigger question, and it's the one we're going to tackle right now. And to do that, we're going to use the absolutely fantastic CIS API Security Guide as our source material. We're going to turn it into a blueprint, a mental model for building what I like to call an API fortress. And we're going to construct this fortress on 3 essential pillars that I promise will totally transform how you think about API ops. So let's start with the big picture. Think of your API as the main gate to your company's most valuable asset. It's data. It's the gatekeeper. It controls who comes in, what they can access, and how they interact with your whole digital kingdom. So protecting this gate, it isn't just a good idea. It is literally everything.
So how do we start building this fortress? Well, we start with our very first pillar, the watchtower. Come on, a fortress is only as good as its visibility, right? You have got to see everything that's happening at your gates and inside your walls. This pillar is all about total, uncompromising observation.
At its heart, the watchtower is all about monitoring and logging. Now, this is the disciplined practice of recording and analyzing every single thing that happens with your API. And I want to be clear, this isn't just about collecting a bunch of data and letting it sit there. It's about spotting threats and performance dips the second they happen. First thing you do, you watch the traffic coming in. Think of it as your first line of defense, your eyes on the horizon. This is where you're going to spot attackers trying to pick the lock, but it's also where you'll find those annoying performance bottlenecks and even learn how your users are actually using your system. Next, and this is so important, you have to watch what's going out. And here's a little secret. This is often where you find your own most embarrassing mistakes. Are you accidentally sending one user's data to another? Yikes! Are you exposing sensitive info like personal details or security tokens? Monitoring your responses is how you prevent those critical, self-inflicted wounds. And this is the step that so many people, even pros, just miss. You have to monitor the traffic inside the fortress walls. Malicious insiders, or really sophisticated threats called APTs, they often operate inside your network. Watching these internal calls is how you uncover those deep, deep threats that have already snuck past your outer defenses. But listen, monitoring is not a set it and forget it kind of deal. No way. You have to constantly be auditing your watchtower. Is everything actually being logged? Are you stripping out sensitive data before you store it? Are you keeping logs for the right amount of time? And maybe most importantly, are the logs themselves secure? These audits are absolutely non-negotiable. Look, seeing a problem is totally useless if you can't act on it. And that's where your alerting lifeline comes in. An anomaly is detected, and boom, an alert is sent immediately to the right person with information they can actually use. So the issue can be fixed before it causes any real damage or downtime. It has to be that fast. Okay, our watchtower is built. We've got visibility. Now we can focus on our second pillar, the fortress walls themselves. This is all about resilience. It's not just about seeing an attack coming. It's about having walls that are strong enough to actually withstand it. Now, the strength of your walls really comes down to 2 key ideas: availability and performance. Availability just asks a simple question: is the system on? But performance asks a much better question: is the system fast enough to be useful? I mean, your fortress can be standing, but if the gates are too slow to open, it's failing just the same. So when that traffic spikes, you've got to be watching these core health metrics like a hawk. Is your CPU getting totally maxed out? Is your RAM about to overflow? Is that latency just creeping up and up? These aren't just numbers on a dashboard. These are the cracks starting to appear in your fortress walls. Now imagine your user traffic doesn't just spike. Imagine it explodes, a 10,000% increase practically overnight. Maybe a new feature went viral, or maybe it's something more sinister, like a denial of service attack. The pressure is just immense. So the question is really simple. Can your fortress walls hold? Is your system actually built to scale? Or is it going to crumble under that load, leading to downtime, lost revenue, and a reputation that's just trashed? This is why scalability is the absolute bedrock of strong walls. All right, we have our watchtower for visibility and our strong walls for resilience. But how do you prove your fortress is secure? How do you earn people's trust? Well, that brings us to our third and final pillar, the royal inspection. This is all about compliance, testing, and being able to prove you're secure. Audits, let's be honest, they aren't always fun, but they are so essential. As the CIS guide says, they are how you demonstrate that you're meeting legal requirements and your own internal security standards. It's how you show the world, hey, our fortress is in order. A huge part of any inspection or audit is managing your data. You have to know the life cycle of your data. When is it created? How is it used? How long are you legally required to keep it? And, critically, do you have a secure, repeatable process for getting rid of it when that time is up? Now for a term you really need to know, VAPT. It stands for Vulnerability Assessment and Penetration Testing. To put it simply, this is where you hire ethical hackers, really skilled attackers, to try and break into your own fortress.
And why on earth would you do that? Because it forces you to think like an attacker. It helps you find all the weak spots in your walls before a real adversary does. Honestly, this is one of the most proactive and effective security measures you can possibly take.
So there we have it, our three pillars: the watchtower for visibility, the walls for resilience, and the inspection for proof. But here's the most important part. None of them work in isolation. A true fortress is a united fortress.
See, monitoring availability and compliance, they aren't just separate jobs for different teams. They are interconnected parts of a single goal, building and maintaining an API that people can trust. When they all work together in harmony, that's when your fortress is truly impenetrable.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. Take a good hard look at your own systems, your own APIs. After everything we've talked about today, just ask yourself one simple question. How strong are the gates to your fortress?